Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the thoughts of what you should or should not be doing? The absolute power of creating tiny habits. Big, beautiful, bonkers, brilliant brain. Not a chance, you can't do that. Your whole life has changed. Hi, my name's Christine L. Conroy. Welcome to Happy Stuff and Fluff, a channel for women who are getting happy, living longer and growing younger. Okay, so the last video I did was all about change. Well, it was about huge change, the changes that are happening in society, I guess. And if you haven't watched that, please do. I talk about artificial intelligence a little bit, but it's certainly food for thought, so I'll leave the link to that video down below. But I'm talking about change again today, but this time we're bringing it right down to your day-to-day routines. Just a quick question for you. Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the thoughts of what you should or should not be doing in order to get happy, live longer and grow younger? And I know I'm a part of that, and I'm sorry, I often feel guilty overpowering you with suggestions, tips and ideas and so on about helping you to change your life for better living. I mean, the thing is, we're learning all the time. New ideas abound in terms of self-help and how to improve our lives, shall we say, especially since relatively new sciences such as positive psychology and neuroscience. So, there's always new books around, new things to be doing, don't do that, do this, and I understand that it can be very overwhelming, so much so that a lot of people get so overwhelmed with it that they end up doing absolutely nothing at all and staying where they are or staying stuck because they're not sure which way they should go. And of course, that's where positive psychology coaching comes in. But in the absence of that, on a YouTube channel, I want to talk to you today about the power of creating habits, creating new habits, but not just creating new habits, the absolute power of creating tiny habits. Teeny, tiny habits, new habits. I've talked before on this channel about your big, beautiful, bonkers, brilliant brain. All it wants to do is to keep you safe, and so it does not like change. Which is why you decide, I need to lose 3 stones in weight, and a voice in the back of your head immediately says, not a chance, you can't do that. You can't lose 3 stone. It's going to make you ill, it's going to make you look bad, it's going to make you this, it's going to make you miserable. Stay where you are. Don't make that big change. Stay where you are in your comfort zone where we're all relatively safe. Okay, that's your brain trying to help you to survive. And we want it to do that. We want it to help us to survive, of course we do. But we also want to make some changes. So how do we do it? Well, we have to trick the brain. We have to trick the brain so it doesn't even realise that you're making changes. This is the power of the tiny, tiny change, the tiny new habit. And it's accumulative. So what happens is you continue with your tiny habit or your tiny change until it becomes a habit, and then you do another one. And you keep going until all of a sudden your whole life has changed and your brain hasn't even noticed. That, in a nutshell, is what we're talking about. And it is powerful, and it's also easy. It's easy and pleasurable. And it will change you as a person, and it will change your life. Okay, let's get going then. So, what you do need, however, you're thinking, oh yes, here it comes. No, what you do need is commitment and consistency. That's it. Let's get to some basics then. What actually is a habit? Well, it's simply an action that's repeated with effort over time until the action becomes easy and automatic. That's it. Psychologist William James said a habit is repeating the same action over and over until it is engraved in brain circuitry. And this is key. Brain circuitry. We now know, thanks to neuroscience, that each time you do something, a new neural pathway is formed in your brain. And the more you do that thing, the stronger this neural connection or pathway becomes. This is called neuroplasticity. And we now know that you can do this at any age. You can grow your brain and change your brain at any age. Now, the interesting thing is the reverse thing is also true. If you stop doing something, those pathways become weaker. They don't actually disappear, but they become weaker and weaker so that eventually you just forget about it. So what we're interested in today is the development of these new neural pathways. It doesn't matter how old you are. So the takeaway from this is you can teach an old dog new tricks. Now, of course, I'm not calling you an old dog, but you know what I mean. You get the message. Do you believe that what I've just said, that you can change? The evidence is there right before you. You can change your brain in this way. You have to believe, because I'm going to give you 7 steps to this powerful transformation, whatever it is that you want to achieve. The first step is you have to believe you can do it. You have to believe you can change. That's the first thing, or the first step. Now, I'm talking about this today because over the last few months, I've changed my own daily routines. I'm creating new habits, and I wanted to talk about it. One of my ongoing priorities, as I'm sure you know, is health and longevity. And that's what I'm tackling first. And that's the second step. You need to decide your priorities. What do you want to tackle first? Is it health? Is it fitness? Perhaps it's building a new social life, creating wealth, building your career, starting a new business, whatever that priority is. And obviously you'll have more than one. You need to write them down. Write as many of your priorities down as you possibly can. And then what you need to do is put them in order of priority, which one you're going to tackle first. Now, if you're having a problem with this, let's just do a little exercise. What I want you to do is right now, just close your eyes for a second and listen to me. I'm going to ask you a question. And I want you to make a mental note of the first thing that comes into your mind. Okay, are you ready? Close your eyes. Here's the question. What is the number one thing that you could start to do right now that would have the most positive benefit in your life? Keep your eyes closed. I'm going to say it again. What is the number one thing that you could do right now that would have the most positive benefit in your life? Okay, open your eyes. Did anything come to mind? If it did, start right there. If it didn't, do the exercise again after the video, or sit and think about it, and write down some of the priorities that you want to achieve or change in your life, and start there. Now, one of my public speaking subjects, the title of one of my lectures, if you like, is Happy, Healthy, Dead. And that sums up my health and longevity goal. I want to be happy, healthy, dead. So I want to live as long as possible, but I want to be fit and healthy in order to enjoy my life. I mean, I have so much more that I want to achieve and that I want to do, but I know that in order to do that, I need to keep my body and mind fit and healthy in order to achieve those things. Now, that's my why. That's the reason behind my overarching goal of health and longevity, and that's also the third step. You have to decide your why. You have to know why you want the particular priority, why you want that thing that you've written down. Why is that important? Because if you know your why, you can bear most any how. I believe that was Friedrich Nietzsche who said that. And of course, what he's saying there is, you might come across challenges along the way. And in order to get through those, you have to remember the reason you want to do this thing in the first place. And if it's strong enough, it's going to push you through the things that try to stop you. Okay, so obviously excellent health and living longer for me are long-term, hopefully very long-term goals. So what do I need to do? I need to chunk it down. I need to bring it right down to my daily living. So I have to ask myself questions. So in order to stay fit and healthy, what do I need to do? Do I need to lose weight? Do I need to eat healthier foods, exercise more, drink more water, wake up early, all of those things? It's about asking, what do I need to do? How can I break that down into manageable steps? And then it's about creating a plan, which is what is number 4. Now it's about your daily routine, bringing it down. So you have your goal. Now the actions that you take as part of your daily routine become the habits you need to create that are going to move you towards achieving your goal on a daily basis. On a daily basis. This is where it becomes so powerful. Now, as with any goal, it's not just about the outcome, it's about the process and what happens to you during the process of achieving your goal, whatever the goal is. So the things you need to do to help you achieve that goal are the very things, of course, that are going to help you to reach your full potential in that area, of course. But as we've seen, that every time you do something new and different things, it changes your brain, and so it changes you as a person. You become a different person, and ultimately, they change your life for better living. So instead of trying to revolutionize your entire life overnight, or make massive lifestyle changes, you focus on one tiny thing at a time until it becomes a habit. And then you move on to the next one, and the next, and the next. And it's accumulative. So now, as you know, I drink a glass of water on waking every morning. Now, the commitment for me there was pretty difficult actually, because I don't like water. I struggled with it. That was the commitment, showing up and doing it every day. I don't drink the full 15 ounces that I was advised to drink. I do what's manageable for me, but I am doing it consistently on a daily basis. As I say, it was difficult for me in the beginning. But now I do it without thinking. Now, it does take commitment and consistency, as I said. You must not miss a day. Sometimes life happens. If something happens beyond your control, and you do, get straight back to it. Straight back to the habit the next day. Now, since reading The Glucose Goddess, this is another one of my small tiny habits, I've started to drink the vinegar cocktail she talks about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll leave the link to the video and the book down below. But I started to drink the vinegar cocktail 10 minutes before dinner. But then I kept forgetting. You know what it's like before dinner with everything that's going on, and then I'd sit down and start to eat and think, oh, I didn't drink my vinegar. So I set up an alarm system with Alexa. And she reminds me at 6:15 every day, because we like to try to eat dinner at around about 6:30. The alarm goes off and that reminds me to drink the vinegar. The good thing is I'm usually drinking the vinegar when the alarm goes off, so I know it's getting easier. Going back to the water then, the water I put on my bedside at night time with a cover on it, and so that the first thing in the morning, without thinking, when I get out of bed and my feet touch the floor, my hand goes out to my bedside cabinet to pick up the water. Make it easy for yourself. And so this is step number 5, set triggers like that. If you keep forgetting something, set an alarm. Put something there. You know, I'm sure you've heard, if you want to go running every day, your kit needs to be right there on the floor beside the bed so that you can literally roll out of bed into your running gear to set off. Make it easy. Set yourself up for success in that way. So that's the trigger for me, setting an alarm and having the water there for those two things. 5A, if you like, is to tag it on, that I call. Tag your new habit onto something you do already, and that makes it easier. I mean, over the last 12 months, Mr. Kitchen and I have completely revamped our supplementation protocols, and we've added quite a few things. Now, Mr. Kitchen kept forgetting to take the supplements. So what he did was he put them beside his toothbrush in the bathroom instead of in the kitchen, which is where mine are. And so he now takes his daily supplements after brushing his teeth in the morning, and then at night time he takes the evening ones when he's brushed his teeth. He's tagged it onto brushing his teeth. Nobody forgets to brush their teeth, and it becomes automatic then to reach down for the supplements. So in this sense, tagging it on, you're making it easier again for yourself. Now, you only need to do these things early on when it's new to you, and that's of course when you need the commitment and the consistency, because when it becomes a habit, you don't even need to think about it. Now, the jury's out. How long does it take then to create a habit? The jury's out on that. You might see anything anywhere between 30 and 60 days. So if you're on day 35 and thinking, oh, this is still difficult for me, it's still a commitment to do, I'm just not getting it, don't give up. You know, it's different for different people, and as I say, it could be anywhere between 30 and 60 days to literally engrave it into your brain circuitry. Oh, just so exciting. Now, finally, another way to help yourself is to, step number 7, track your progress. This is great. Use a physical calendar to start with your habits, and tick off each day when you've done it. It's so satisfying to see tick, 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 tick that you've done it. It really keeps you centered on what's going on and why you're doing it and so on. Now, a bonus tip for you here is to, on a daily basis, perhaps reward yourself in some cutely, deliciously, equally small way. So, for example, when you've walked for 20 minutes, which is something that you want to do, then reward yourself by sitting with a coffee and chatting with a friend on the phone or whatever, or say to yourself, after I've done my 20 minutes walk, I will give myself a facial, or spend half an hour reading a book, or whatever is pleasurable for you, that you can look forward to. You might think these things are small, but honestly, it really is the small things that make a difference. I mean, these small and seemingly insignificant steps taken every day pave the way for remarkable personal growth and success. Like I said, it's not just about achieving the goal. Achieving the goal at the end is almost the icing on the cake. It's what happens to you along the way that improves your life and your living. It's just a win-win situation. With these tiny habits, you will witness the astounding impact they can have on the various aspects of your life, from health to relationships, career, financial, building, happiness and overall well-being, which of course is what I'm interested in. But whatever it is that you want to prioritise right now, tiny habits have an enormous impact, is what I want to say. So if you've chosen something tiny, a tiny habit that you can start doing, just a tiny one, tell me about it in the comments box. Tell us all, then we know we're not on our own with these things. Tell me a tiny habit that you can start doing now on a daily basis. Tell me in the comments box below. And I'll see you next time. And until then, remember that on Happy Stuff and Fluff, we're getting happy, living longer and growing younger. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.